he'll be one of them on there. A guy that I think fits that exact mold of maybe, I don't even know if he got overrated, but like hits kind of the apex of his value, has a bad year, and then is way too low heading into this year. And now this year had a fantastic year is
Deontay
T.
Jones.
Higgins. Is T. Higgins. Did you know, Dalton, he averaged 16.2 fantasy points per game this year? That's a career high. His previous career high was 13. And think about it. T. Higgins is a guy who, in multiple years before this most recent draft cycle, he's kind of been penciled in as somewhere between the wide receiver 12 and 16 and just a very safe high-end wide receiver 2. And he was a lot better than that this year. And the thing about T. Higgins, if you have him, you're going to get the push notification on Friday about once every 2 weeks. That's going to give you major heartburn. Maybe he'll play, maybe he won't. But the great thing about him is he missed 5 games this year. So either he's great or he's just not out there and gives you the chance to actually start somebody else. He only had 2 games where he really killed you. He had one with 3.3 points, one, I think, with like 5 point something. Every other game was 9.9 and above. So this was T. Higgins' best year as a pro. And I think we should be rooting for him to go back to Cincy. Whereas maybe a year ago, people were kind of hoping, okay, let's get him out of there. Let's get him to be a wide receiver 1 in another offense and kind of see what he can do. But I don't think it can get much. I mean, 16.2 points per game. That's more than Amon-Ra St. Brown averaged, who was the wide receiver 3 this year.
Yeah, I think it's a wide receiver 2 average, right below Justin Jefferson. It's going to be a interesting offseason on if the Bengals can retain him. And more importantly, if he ends up somewhere else, we've learned in the last couple of years, especially with wide receivers, it can get worse going to a new team. And it often does get worse, especially with a skill set like T. Higgins, where you need that elite caliber quarterback who's willing to fit the needle in the pocket and gives him the chance to win some of those jump balls. It's not that he doesn't separate, but he is one of the apex jump ball winners in the NFL. So
think about how many times you see T. Higgins, this is for the YouTube audience here, make this exact catch where he reaches straight out, catches it, and then holds the ball in one hand as he's getting tackled at by the sideline. Like that's kind of the signature T. Higgins play in my mind.
Yeah, and that's definitely not going to fly with some of the lower tier quarterbacks in the NFL because they're not effective enough at reading coverages to trust their guys.
You brought up Dontavian Wicks earlier.